6, 5, 4. Welcome everyone to Nothing Media. We have Andreas. Andreas, welcome.
All right. Okay, welcome. Thank you very much, Emerson. Thank you. Okay, so, yeah, there you are. All right. Okay, nice to see you. Welcome to the Zoom talk via Nothing Media. It seems as if some things are freezing in between. I hope it's not me.
I think it's okay now.
Yeah, all right.
Oh.
Okay, so I think, okay, welcome. So I just go for it. Well, what does this message say? In the end, not much, because there isn't anything to say really. This is not a teaching. This is not really about anything. But what seems to be happening is a pointing to itself, wholeness, if you want. So it sounds a bit spiritual or something, but wholeness just seems to point to itself here. That's what seems to be happening. It's just saying, this is it. This is all there is. And it's whole and complete already. That's what's being pointed out. Not for anything, not for any reason, or not for or to anyone. It's just what seems to be happening. Wholeness saying, hello, this is wholeness. This is all there is. There is no one separate. There is no one who needs to reach it, or there isn't anyone who needs to achieve anything. It's just whole and complete already. And it's not meant in a conceptual way. It's not the attempt to explain that it's wholeness, that it's whole already. It's not the attempt to make it whole, but
You're frozen there, Andreas. And this is wholeness too.
there isn't anyone or anything separate at all. There's just no one there. So that's why there isn't much to say. That's why there actually is nothing to say at all. This is not a teaching. I'm not a teacher, but there's also no disciple here. There's just what seems to be happening, and that's whole and complete already. That's about it, I would say.
Hi, Andreas.
Hi.
So there's absolutely no way of getting this at all.
Yes. Yes, I mean, there is no this in the first place. So it's not about I can get this or not. Or this is already imagined.
Because everything's, you might say nothing's happening, I'm not sure, but everything that seems to be happening is just on autopilot anyway.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. But it's basically not something. That's why it can't be gotten. That's what I mean when I say there is no this in the first place. So when you say everything is on autopilot, it still sounds as if there is something that's on autopilot, and if this could be gotten, theoretically. But that just isn't, and not something in the first place.
So it's just the sense of the personal reality that things are going on and something's happening and I can know it. And
exactly, it experiences itself as something and projects a bigger something out there. Assume it's an assumption. I'm a small something in a bigger something.
And that's where the need for control comes in.
Yes.
Because if I'm here having an experience of this, if I can control this to be how I need it to be, then I'll find what's I think I need.
Yeah, something is in control. Either me or the bigger thing. Could also be God or whatever. But someone or something is in control. Please.
It's just completely hopeless.
Of course.
You're not. It's not like you're even giving an answer. There's just a conversation apparently happening, and then obviously the me would like to find some answers or truths in that it can use. But really and truly, there's just an exposing of that artificial setup as being a dream.
Yes, it's an apparent exposing of something. Even that's not real, because it's exactly that something which isn't there in the first place. There's nothing to expose even.
So from sorry.
Oh, well, honestly.
No, I was going to say, from my perspective, it feels like something's happening. I ask a question and then there's a response which exposes that experience as a dream. There's not a perspective there, but from what's going on at these meetings, what is taking place?
Oh, no one knows.
So
honestly,
you're as blind about what's going on in the meetings as you are about anything else you do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In that sense, there is no experience of there being meetings going on.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Andreas.
Thank you.
Hi, Andreas.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. Very good.
So when we take out the subject from our language, then there's just verbing. Like, rather than I am anxious, it's just anxiety-ing.
Yeah.
So there's still the sensation of the anxiety. It still comes up and becomes intense and then eventually falls away. But if there's not the thought of I am anxious, it's less terrifying if I can just sit there and think anxiety is arising. Is that something that you would agree with?
I mean, well, at least it wouldn't have something to do with what we speak about here. It would be another, to me, it sounds as if it was another experience where you can somehow believe to deal better with the anxiety. But I don't see a real connection to what we talk about here.
Okay. I guess I'm trying to make this into applied non-duality, which I can't do. But I come to the problem again of what's the point of participating in these talks or learning about it? And if there's no doer, I haven't chosen this. It's just happening. I just am here in these talks.
That's the bad news. You didn't choose to come here, and on top they are useless. Yes.
So it's kind of like, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, because this I that thinks or that experiences itself as I'm here for whatever reason, but it's this I which isn't real. But it's only this I which wants to gain something from being here. But there is no gaining anything here or anywhere in the end. It's not, actually, this is not limited to this meeting. So, but.
Okay. So I'm tempted to say, okay, so this is like a movie and I can just watch it unfold, but even that is a choice.
Absolutely, and even that is another position to make it okay for you. It's actually quite the same thing that you said about the anxiety and the feelings. And in the end, that's the question of the person. What's the right position for me to go through life the best way? But it's exactly this I, which is illusory. There is no answer to how should I be? What should I do? Should I be the doer or should I be the watcher? Should I engage in feelings or in my life, or should I take a step back and let it happen and unfold? Both would be personal positions. And both couldn't be kept up in daily life anyway. So those positions always remain a goal or a challenge, so to speak, in daily life. Conceptually, they sound nice, but yeah, but this question remains unanswered, actually. How should I be? What should I do?
So whatever my brain tries to do to make sense of it, that will automatically not be it because that's a brain making sense of it.
Yes, one could say so. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. Non-duality, life, what seems to be happening. Yeah. It's a constant attempt.
All right.
I mean, in the end, that's the attempt of the seeker to make what I experience bearable for me. And that's what it works on, finding answers, finding the right position, the right way to experience. And it'll never be the right way because experiencing itself isn't real.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Andreas,
Yes.
you just said to Eric that there's nothing to be gained here as there isn't anywhere else.
Yes.
So is that why the person's constantly struggling between trying to make the right choices because it really thinks there's things to be gained and one place I might gain something more than somewhere else? And
Oh, totally, of course. It's the same question. What's the best way for me to be? But for the person, this is a bit more serious than just a game. It's a serious question. What's the best way for me to be now? What's the best way to do now for me to gain most out of it, out of life, out of the situation? Yeah.
because choice still happens there without a sense of self, but no one's making a choice.
Yes, exactly. Choices are happening. Yeah. No one chooses. No one needs to choose in order to gain fulfillment or something deeper.
Whereas when there's a sense of the person making the choice and how it could affect me and what needs to happen, then there's the whole complication going around.
Yes, it can become very existential for the person. It can feel very existential. But for the person, it's never really about what happens after the choice. It's connected to this hope to find something deeper in what I choose. It's as if it's constantly playing with its fulfillment. If I do this, will this bring me closer to fulfillment? Or if I watch TV and don't meditate, will this get me off track or something?
Yes.
So in that sense, there's always kind of, I mean, not every decision is that loaded, but there's always kind of an existential thing going on with a person.
And when there's no longer the sense of self, and there's no longer any need, there's no movement into what I hope is going to bring me the fulfillment that I think I don't experience.
Absolutely. This whole setup doesn't happen anymore. That there is someone, and that life is somehow about gaining something. That life is about being a happy me. This whole idea drops. I don't know if that's good, but it's just not there anymore.
It sounds great. It sounds like freedom, but I'm also just thinking at the same time, I've said it before, like this would sound crazy to most people. It sounds crazy to me, actually, thinking that there's no sense of self there, thinking its life's important and things. I'm thinking, I can't believe it, obviously.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, Andreas, please explain why or how non-duality speakers can say that the separate self is completely illusory, as opposed to being real and unreal, like the appearances. Well, in the end, no one can say that. There isn't someone or a position who can say there is no self. In that sense, it's an apparent report, so to speak, out of functioning, if you want to say so. Well, now I say something mean. In the end, it just is like that, you know. In the end, there just is no self, and what seems to be happening is real and unreal. No, I'm really sorry. There is no reason for that, or it can't be explained in the end. The word explained doesn't really make sense here because it's not a circumstance that is caused by something. There isn't a reason why it is like that, or there just is no self. And in the story, one could say, this becomes obvious, but this is already mean to say. That's weird already. But in the end, it becomes obvious when it just collapses. It's something that can't be seen from the person's perspective, and it's an utter surprise, actually, when it turns out that the I itself isn't real. It's a surprise. It's unexpected. It's deeply unexpected.
Andreas, it's impossible to make sense out of the resonance, isn't it?
Yes.
If there's a resonance happen.
It's impossible to make sense.
Okay. But the resonance that seems to happen at these meetings, it seems to get stronger and stronger, and it's got nothing to do with the me.
Yes. Yeah.
So the resonance is just what seems to be happening.
So to speak, yes.
And it has no significance. Yeah, because I think the resonance is really amazing. It's special. It will hopefully lead me somewhere.
Yes, it means something. I'm on a good path, and I will end up being a fulfilled me. A fulfilled me.
So where's the sort of flaw in that logic? Is it because no one becomes fulfilled when the sense of self apparently falls away?
Yes, this whole personal world doesn't exist. I'm on a path, I'm unfulfilled, there is fulfillment, I'm on a path towards that.
So seen from the me, there's a sense of unfulfillment, and then there's the hope that when things work out, I'll feel fulfilled. For you,
that's the idea, that there is a way to turn me into a fulfilled person.
and so for you, the sense of fulfillment or unfulfillment doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Yes.
It's just not even an issue at all.
Absolutely. There is fulfillment, unfulfillment is what you even talk about. Yeah. Yeah.
So those concepts only exist within that dream setup.
Yes. Yes. I mean, for the person, unfulfillment isn't really a concept. It really seems to feel like that. So somehow this seeking drive, so to speak, seems to be deeper than just conceptual. That's why this need can feel very existential. But yeah.
But wholeness, not that there is a wholeness, but wholeness doesn't recognize things could be fulfilled or unfulfilled or.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, that's why a wholeness, or sitting in front of a screen, is naturally whole. It's not even an issue. The moment you know something about wholeness or fulfillment or unfulfillment, it's too much of an issue.
And it's not trying to go somewhere.
Oh, not at all. It's not about going anywhere. It's not about staying somewhere. It's not about anything.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. The problem is when you say, no, there's an is liberation the end of giving a fuck? Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, I have no idea what liberation is. Come on. All those questions. Okay. The problem is when you say the person always wants to know what's the best way to be, the person immediately thinks, okay, so now I will make attempt to not find out what's the best way. Oh yeah, of course. Yes, yeah. The person thinks this is a teaching and it thinks and it thinks I'm saying those sentences in order to teach something. Oh no, not a bit. It's just what comes out here, really, for no reason. I'm just can't really talk about anything else. So that's what comes out, but it's not teaching something. But of course, that's what the person tries to hear, to get something from what I say, some conclusions, some knowledge. He wants to move on with this information, but it's all apparent information, of course. Because when I say the person always wants to know of course there's no person who always wants to know and stuff like that. So it's useless. I don't, it's not a teaching. Okay. Nature self has been realized to be illusory by many throughout the world and history. Ultimately, it can be experienced, but not proven. Yes, I wouldn't say it can be experienced, but yes, the sense of self apparently can drop. That's just something that can apparently happen in the story. But yes, it can never be proven. Absolutely. This message can never be proven. That there is no me can't be proven. In the end, exactly because there is no me, it can't be. Yes. So no one will ever know if I'm right or wrong. It'll never be clear if I'm actually a weirdo inventing weird stories or if he's actually this, whatever, this sincere, honest, whatever. Okay, I personally do it because I want to reveal the ridiculousness and suffering that occurs from being stuck playing the impassioned protagonist of one's subjective narrative of self. Yeah, all right. But there isn't anyone. But yeah. Okay. Is reality changeless when seen in totality? Well, it's there's just no real change, but it's not fixed or something. There isn't something that's unchanged either. So what seems to be happening is all there is, and that's sitting in front of a screen and talking and thinking. It's neither moving or it's neither going somewhere, nor is it still. So yes and no.
Andreas, can I ask a question, please?
Yeah, please.
So basically nothing needs to happen.
Yes.
And that whole sense of something needs to happen is all in order for me to be okay.
Yes, exactly. It's that's just an attached sense that something needs to happen for it to be okay in the end. That's actually the second part of that sentence.
And then in the end, everything that whole setup turns out to be illusory.
Yes.
That I'm here, something's missing, something needs to happen in order for and then it's there's no need for the next moment.
Yes, absolutely. There is actually not even the need for this moment.
I don't get that.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the person. I mean, see, from a person there's already a need that, well, at least this is going on, or at least this is something, please. But this moment doesn't need itself.
Okay. I'm trying to get it, but I can't. Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you. So everyone is welcome to ask here via audio, just to let you know. Just whenever there's no question here, I go to the chat, but feel just free to interrupt me here and say something. Okay. Hi, Andreas. Could you say that what you're talking about is the big exhale? Yes, kind of. That's what one could say is the death of the me is, where when this I dies. That's like the last exhalation, so to speak. When life ends, that's liberation. But it turns out, when it happens, it turns out that there was nothing alive in the first place. That is the big exhalation. So, well, big, it's not, we can skip the big. That is the last exhalation. It's just over, when life's over. Yeah. Oh, is enlightenment consciousness permanently going meta on itself? Well, actually, I've no idea what enlightenment consciousness does do, but well, what this is about, it means it actually says there is no real consciousness, and that's why there is no possibility for there to be an enlightened or an unenlightened consciousness. So when there is the illusion of consciousness and maybe an enlightened consciousness, it's just circling around within its own story and within its own dreamt reality. There is no such thing, actually. Without mind, no. Without I see, close eyes or open eyes. What is it? Yes. Well, there's just no one there. So there is no processing of any kind of reality. No inquiry into, is there something or not?
Andreas,
Yes.
when the apparent seeking fell away there, or the me or whatever, was it, not that it was experienced, but was it like a huge relief?
No.
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 Uh,
It was a subtle relief. No, I had I had this fading out. I had this slow death. But if one says there was 2 years of slow death, that was the fading, that was the exhalation. And of course, if you take those 2 years together, it was a big relief. If those 2 years would have happened on one day, it would have been a big relief. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it feels like that. I mean, this is a story and I don't know really what that seeking energy is, but it feels like that seeking energy is so tense, like as a contraction. And listening to this does feel like a massive relief.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, all the person knows is itself and its struggle. So all the person knows is this being tense, is being this tension, of course. And seen from the person, the end of that, or if it becomes kind of close energetically, it seems to be a huge relief, of course, to be without the personal struggle. And these ideas seem like as if death must be a big relief. In the end, it turns out to be much more ordinary and not special at all, because it turns out that this person and the struggle was artificial all the time. There never was anyone struggling, really. It's a big surprise. That's why in the end the relief isn't as big as it was expected from the person.
But the thing is, you're not sitting there with an agenda to help people gain any kind of relief from seeking.
It's impossible, yes. Yeah, because it turns out that seeking is it and was never real. Yes.
That's the bit I can't get, because I'm listening to this message, I'm feeling a huge relief, and I'm thinking there's people who are tense seekers till they go to the grave, or maybe they even get tenser as they get older. And I'm thinking it's a shame that people can't get relief from that seeking, but you don't have a problem with seeking, do you?
That's true, yes. Yeah, it's not real anyway, and it's wholeness.
So the seeking, the tension, the struggle is as much it as what the me hopes of the freedom.
Totally. Yes.
That's impossible to get.
Yes, and it's whole and complete and total as what it is. You can't talk it, you can't make it into something that's better than it is, but in a miraculous way, it's whole, it's equally whole and complete as everything else.
And the me can't make it acceptable, the seeking.
Exactly. But that's what I mean when I say it is whole and complete exactly as what it is. Because if there would be a possibility to make it acceptable, it wouldn't be seeking anymore. It is seeking.
Seeking is just the energetic assumption that what's happening isn't acceptable for me.
Yes, exactly. Which is whole and complete for no one.
This is incredible. Thank you for sharing this message.
Thank you. You are saying there's no awareness, but isn't awareness necessary to notice the absence of awareness? Yes, but there isn't anyone noticing that there is no awareness. There's just no awareness and an apparent report about that. So in that sense, liberation is not the noticing that there is no awareness. It's just not there being awareness. And the report apparently doesn't need someone who's aware of it. So I'm not aware of there not being awareness. That's not a state. It's not something where anyone can or will arrive ever. The person will never be able to say, there is no awareness. I'm seeing it now too. Won't happen. Well, what we talk about, or what I would regard as liberation, is just the melting away of this separate energy. But nothing is seen in that. Nothing is even noticed in that. Noticing would all be apparent. So in order to notice that there is no awareness, there must be awareness, but this would be another personal experience. There is no noticing of what we speak about here. That's an easy one. Are you coming to the UK? Oh, it's not easy actually. Are you coming to UK soon? Well, maybe in December, but depends on how it all goes, I would say. So there's also no clear answer, like to everything else. Okay. Hi, Andreas. Surely wholeness has a sense of humor. Well, what to say? Within a lot of other things, yeah. Or besides a lot of other things, yeah. There's also humor. Yes, how to realize that there is no one? Well, it can't be realized. That's the same thing with the noticing of and awareness about. What we talk about can't be realized. Because sitting in front of a screen, what seems to be happening is the perfect realization of what we talk about already. There is no future or present, actually, additional realization of that. And that there is no one will also not be realized. It can't. It can't. This whole idea, of realizing something, taking a step, arriving at something that's more true, more real than what happens, is the dream. There isn't anyone now here who moves on in time, who is on a path towards another state. It will not happen. No one will realize anything ever. Can you talk about wealth and happiness? No, I don't. But sorry, what would? No, I'm not an expert on those things. Neither on wealth, nor on happiness, actually. Well, happiness I could maybe tell a bit more. I've tried to become a happy me, but I wasn't really successful. And I didn't even start to try to become wealthy, so no ideas on that.
Andreas?
Yes.
So you didn't become a happy me, and now there is no me, and
that's why it's okay.
Right. My question is, so when I listen to other non-duality speakers like Jim Newman, they mention that things like, well, the full range of emotions can arise. It's just that there's no one who is claiming it or holding on to it. But I'm thinking about, for example, our situation as humanity with climate change. And if I was like realized and there was no me, I can't imagine that I would just be like, oh, climate change is wonderful and it's perfect. I think I would still feel some urgency to try to do something about it, even if there was no me, because it's what's necessary. Isn't that true?
Yeah, I would say it is like that, or it is kind of like that, because yes, yeah, Yeah, liberation isn't liking everything or saying yes to everything. There's just no one there doing anything. So yes, maybe you wouldn't feel an urgency anymore to change something. Maybe changing things would just be happening, but maybe you wouldn't feel the urge that they need to happen.
Okay.
But of course, when there's absolutely no need, or in a story one could say, I don't need to know if things are good or not. I don't care, you know. And of course, the person usually thinks that, or it wants to replace its assumption that this isn't good. It wants to replace with the knowing that it actually is good. So it tries all kinds of things, accept climate change, accept oneself, love everything and stuff like that. But that's absolutely not needed. Everything is whole and complete and love, so to speak, exactly as what it is. Nothing needs this additional confirmation, and nothing needs to be turned into something acceptable or loved. So there's absolutely no one here who looks in the world, so to speak, and needs to say, this is good. No, it doesn't need me for any of that.
So all forms of expression that arise are love, and so it's kind of like you're ready to die in a way. There's no dissatisfaction. You could just die, but at the same time, if there's, not saying you personally, but if a threat happens to the body will become activated and will defend itself.
Exactly. And it's not, in that sense, I'm not only ready to die, actually, I already died.
Okay.
So there is absolutely no reason for me to be here. And there is no need for me to go on living to have more experiences and become a happy me. Yes. But you're right. The body is programmed to survive. So I might run. If there's...
Right. And wouldn't you feel any attachment at all to surviving for the sake of your family?
Oh, I mean, there might be sadness if I would need to, I don't know, to say goodbye tonight to everyone, and there might be sadness, but in the end, yes, there isn't anyone who still needs to survive for a higher reason or for a bigger purpose. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sounds a bit sad, but
Okay. Thank you, Andreas.
thank you. Well, no, I had a bad thought, but I thought maybe they're even better off without me. I mean, who knows? But maybe not. Okay. Just a thought. Do aliens have control over your body? Is that why you say there is no me? Well, no one is in control. So neither me nor anyone else. Of course, I'm not 100% sure about the aliens, but yeah, we're joking. Is the amount of control on the action that happens through my body is exactly the same amount of control if I have on the actions which happen through other bodies? Yes, there's just no control. Already, there is no one or nothing controlling this. Neither a me, nor another me, nor a God or a divine energy or the devil or whatever. There's just what seems to be happening, and it's totally out of control. It's uncaused, it's out of control. Already, all the time. It's not that one day it won't be in control. No, there is no controlling instance at all. Nobody has free will except Dr. Fauci. Well, maybe he thinks he has free will. So no one could be defined a consciousness that has no personality traits, and my personality traits are the apparent uprising. Yeah, I'm not sure if I completely got it, but yes, what seems to be happening is our personalities, how you are, how I am. That's it seems to be happening, but there's just no one living inside it. Neither a human being with a personal story, nor a pure consciousness or a soul or something. There's just nothing there like that. There's just what seems to be happening. And this includes how I am, how you are, what you like, what I think, what I don't think. If there is, yes.
Oh, I was going to ask you a question. So there's no rules whatsoever on how the apparent self deconstructs?
Yes. I mean, the deconstruction of the self is an illusion already. The construction of the self is a dream.
But what's the energetics stuff that seems to go on around this message to do with feeling like a person and then not feeling like a person and then...
Well, there's no real, I don't know actually. It's just what seems to be happening.
Okay. Because I mean, for you or for that body, there's no longer any sense of all this energetic stuff going on around the sense of feeling like a self. Whereas here, there's... Yeah. Whereas here, there seems to be a load of stuff going on either on the physical level energetically or on the mental level energetically. Sometimes there just clearly isn't anyone. It's not even a question. There just isn't anyone. And then other times, just the mental sort of contraction will come in really heavily of what needs to happen, or the physical contraction will come in of... Do you get what I mean?
Partly.
There seems to be a lot of stuff going on energetically, and I'm thinking,
yes.
But I suppose it's a story for me to say this is the deconstruction of the person, because it's not actually a sign of anything.
Yeah, in the end, no one really knows. That's the problem. It's a story. The construction of the self is a story. The deconstruction of the self is a story. In the end, those two are unknowable wholeness.
Yeah. I suppose also...
What this actually is just can't be known.
Because I'm also still living in a story that something's really happening, and hopefully it's a good thing, which is me deconstructing, and that's
just the same me story.
That's not... Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. That's it. Just says I'm here and something is going to happen, and in the end I'll be fine. That's the dream. No one will be fine in the end. No.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Andreas.
Hi.
Hi. So the more I listen to these talks, the more things become clear about being a self. And this kind of background uneasiness, or there's always something wrong, and not knowing what to do to make it better is like so front and center lately. And it used to be like, oh, this is a psychological issue. You know, I need to go to therapy because I think there's something wrong with me and all this. But now it seems like just being a self carries with it this kind of uneasiness, right? This sense of something's not quite right. Yeah. And I don't know what to do about it.
Yes.
But it's like, it's just getting stronger, that sense of, I don't know what to do to make anything better, and nothing I can do is going to be any better. So it's like this kind of like confusion and depression and, oh my God, there's nothing I can do, and whoa. But it seems like, it seems more and more like it's not necessarily a psychological issue, right? It's just comes with being a self.
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm really screwed.
Yeah, that's the thing, that it's a psychological thing or a spiritual thing or whatever thing, a money thing or whatever. It's just assumed. It's just wildly looking for a cause for one's own uneasiness. But in the end, it's never really those things. Yeah. Apparently what seems to be happening is that the sense to be presence is unpleasant, actually.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah, because this presence isn't real. And of course the unpleasantness coming out of it isn't real as well. But that's what it feels. I am means something isn't right.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah. And no amount of work will change that. If there is no self, who or what experiences the dropping away of the self? And nothing. That's why this story is a bit simplified, that there is a self which drops. It's very simplified, because the dropping of the self is the turning out that there is no self and that nothing drops. And now when I say the turning out of, it's again sounds as if there is a noticing, as if there is a moving from one thing to another thing. It doesn't have, it's totally illogical, and I can't explain it in a better way. It's inexplainable. It's just telling an apparent story. It's an apparent report, but it doesn't make sense or is logical. But the dropping of the self isn't experienced anymore. It's the end of the experience. So. Now I'm lacking a word. Listening to this story is like listening to someone who fell asleep. It's like. That's a report of there is no one. Just fell asleep. That's the thing. The only thing the person can imagine is that this is another state, that I talk about something that I somehow am aware of, as if there not being anyone somehow takes place within awareness, that it's being noticed, that someone knows that. But it's exactly that which lives in awareness that drops, apparently. And there is no one or nothing left who can say that, or which can say that. This whole message isn't personal. It's not coming from any kind of instance in here having realized something. There's still a me. It's just fabricated. Well, all right. Can the me hide behind the idea that there is no me? What if you are delusional about there being no you? Well, of course, the me can hide behind the idea that there is no me. And yeah. And what if you are delusional about there being no me? Well, I know that I'm not delusional because I don't know that there is no me or no you. There's just no one there. But for someone who watches me, this will never be answered. The seeker will never know if I'm just fooling myself or fooling you, or if it's true what I say. I mean, it's not really true anyway, because as we just pointed out, there not being anyone is not a state or a claim, The person would see it as a claim, or that I think it's something that I've reached gloriously or something. No, it doesn't go on here, but it would be impossible for me to prove that. For the seeker, I might be deluding myself or anyone as well. And of course, in the end, when the person thinks that this message is the answer, it actually almost tries to become no me and invent all kinds of ideas how this might be meant and how I could become no me, stuff like that. So it'll try with best intentions, actually. The person tries with best intentions to become no me and find proof for that. This can happen. It just wouldn't be what we talk about here.
Andreas,
And not
so
being in one moment, it just doesn't mean anything. Okay, well,
if there's a sense of threat here, like, or feeling confronted, is the threat to the apparent me in this kind of message purely energetic?
one could say so, yes.
Because energetically, this message exposes the absence of the self already.
Kind of, yeah. Automatically, not with intention or something, or the person feels exposed. Maybe you can put it like that. The message doesn't really do that, but the person may feel exposed by constantly pointing out that it doesn't exist even.
Yeah, because there's no recognition there of anyone being here
Yes, exactly.
in this
Yeah,
apparent.
I'm not working on you or with you or something. No, I'm just saying for no reason. That's
You
what
don't
this
reckon-
message is, basically. Well, just saying.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. The identity falls away, me stays. Well, whatever you mean with identity or me or something. Okay, hi Andreas. Is the sense of separation only a contracted energy in the body, or does thought have something to do with it too? It seems like it does due to the nature of language. Well, okay. There is no separate energy in anyone's body, just to start with that. There is no contracted energy anywhere. That is the illusion that there is a contracted energy. However, the person would describe itself like that. I'm here. There is something here which I am. And seen from the person, it seems to feel like that. That's what the person is constantly claiming. I'm here, I feel it. There is something in here, I'm aware of it. In that sense, that's where it starts. But as this pure sense of presence is unfulfilling, or is automatically connected to the sense of unfulfillment, it starts seeking, and then it throws its attention into the thoughts, for example. And thinking, to seek in thinking, seems to be a very popular method for the person. So it constantly thinks, analyzes, invents theories about how it is. In that sense, there seems to be a close connection to thinking. But actually, the thinking is just what happens, so to speak. It's only the experiencer which turns it into an issue, which somehow feels imprisoned into thinking and wants to escape from thinking. But it's actually not really the thinking that imprisons. It's the I which just feels imprisoned. There's not even love. Yes, that's true. There's not even love. Okay, that's a good. Now, non-dual speakers saying there is no realization. Yes, but they are still explaining stuff. What a contradiction. Yes, yes. I said before, I'm not explaining stuff, actually. I mean, I know it may sound like that, but it's really useless. So I'm not explaining anything. There's just words happening. Yeah. And when you say what a contradiction, yes, for the person, I'm sorry if I have to mention that, but for the person, this message is a contradiction. Life actually is a contradiction, as if one's own existence contradicts everything. Kind of. Yeah. Because all there is whole and complete, and the person is instantly saying, no, it's not. That is the experienced contradiction. And of course, the person sees it here too. Well, Andreas is saying that there is no realization, but he's constantly talking. This can't be it. I'm sorry. It's the same apparent contradiction. Yes, it is this. This is it. This is all there is. Walking around, going to the toilet, having headaches, eating chocolate cake. That's it. That's all there is. Now, this can't be. Well, it's it. Does the message change the sense of personal responsibility? Yes, the sense of it drops. Yes, there's no sense of personal responsibility. It's part of the dream. Seems to be happening sounds like consciousness. Yeah, I know. It's not, yeah, seems to be happening is a story, of course. You're right. No one knows what that means. No one is aware of any kind of happening. Also not an illusory one. This is what seems to be happening, is inexperience. No one knows what that means. Wealth? Here it's seen as completely illusory. Yes, of course. No one owns anything. As there isn't anyone, nothing can be owned. I know that I'm not delusional is what delusional people believe, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, that was a dangerous sentence. I knew it. Again, I did it again. Yeah. All right. Do you have any feeling towards your family members, or you see them as moving objects? Well, I could only have feelings for them if I would see them as moving objects. As there is no one experiencing them as someone, I don't have especially feelings for them. So they are wholeness as much as I'm wholeness. And there can be all kinds of feelings, of course, including love. Whenever I listen to you, it feels like the words are like air. It vanishes the moment you speak them. Yes, absolutely. Actually, apparently there are words, but nothing is being said. While there is speaking, there is nothing being said. There is no information passed on. There is no content that I try to pass on. That's the thing, I don't try to explain anything. Yeah, the words are just what seems to be happening, like everything else. Yeah. Is it even necessary to share this message then? Oh, no, not a single bit. No, it doesn't add anything to anything. No, no. this communication, this meeting, and these questions and answers and stuff is as unnecessary as anything else. Yeah. Yeah. How can this message be contradiction only for the person if there is no person? Obviously, this message is a contradiction in itself, period. Yeah, if you want to say so, all right. Maybe, well, of course, that there is a contradiction is the story. Nothing contradicts anything. Words don't contradict anything. Sitting in front of a screen doesn't contradict anything. It's just itself. So yes, there is no real contradiction. It just seems like that for this artificial eye. This message will make perfect sense to an exhausted spiritual seeker. Yeah. Yes, I know what you mean. Some people call this a spiritual hospice. And coming to the talks is just have a little bit entertainment and holding one's hand. But it's not needed or stuff like that. It doesn't do anything. Maybe this could be a new definition of of my job. It's like, I'm dying. Ah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. No. It's so bad. It's so bad, everything. Yeah, it's okay. What artificial eye? You said there is no such thing. You contradict yourself again. Yes, that's what seems to be happening. Yeah, the illusion of there being someone. Yeah. Andreas, thank you for your answers and for this great talk. Yeah, thank you too. Thanks for joining.
Hi.
Hi.
I was just, I love the spiritual hospice idea. That's excellent.
Yeah,
I have a thing. I was still thinking about the this being a self and not knowing what to do. And there's kind of this fantasy or whatever. Oh, if the self drops away, then I'll know what to do. But then it's probably not like that. It's probably like, well, everything is okay. Like whatever happens is what happens. And there's not a problem with it, so to speak. I don't know. This is my assumption.
No, yes. Oh, yeah, one could say so. Yes. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this. The thing is, I mean, this whole idea about knowing what to do, in the end, the only question why this comes up for the person is, what shall I do to become to gain most out of it?
Yeah.
That's actually always connected to when the person has this dilemma of not knowing what to do. But there is no goal even. There is no, the whole importance of where to go doesn't really exist anymore, or is part of the dream.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Is COVID-19 only apparently real? Yes. I mean, only apparently real sounds a bit like, oh, hey. But yes, it's real and unreal. What seems to be happening is real and unreal.
Don't go to the store and start licking doorknobs.
Was this a suggestion?
No, I said don't.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. Someone get Andreas onto the Joe Rogan podcast, please. There's a laugh out loud, so it sounds as if it would be kind of funny. Okay. Is there being no me only apparently real? Well, nothing is really real. And the thing is that this whole duality doesn't really make sense. Me and no me. The thing is, there's just no real me present that could become or be no me. So no me is not another state or an opposite state to being me.
Hello, can I say something, Andreas?
Yeah, please. Hi.
Hello again. Of course, I forget it immediately, but it seems to me after like the energetic aliveness became obvious this morning, and then it went a bit funny again afterwards, allegedly. But it seems to me like that some of the confusion when people are going, but it's contradictory, is because when it was so clear there's just an unknowable yet obvious only what's happening that can't be located and is quite there's nothing that can be said from that other than a story that might be compassionate. So somehow speakers say, well, for the seeker there can be a real experience of suffering and so on, and then when people hear this they clock it like, oh, they're trying to mentally work it out. But of course it's contradictory because I can't find a seeker and I couldn't find suffering. When, yeah, but only when there's only this. So it's like so it's kind of a head fuck when people are getting confused. And yet it seems compassionate from when I was on a retreat the whole weekend. It seemed like there was like compassion happening because of how Tim Cliss, whatever, from how the thing was conducted, it let off requirements and burdens, and it's okay to be human, and everyone's kind of not special but has all the same problems. And it's like, yeah, it's compassionate, but in it I couldn't find any compassion. I can't find it. Yes. It's like, who fucking cares?
Yes.
And so this seems to be why there's this like collision between, when people are saying, yeah, but you've contradicted. Well,
Mm.
otherwise you couldn't say anything. You'd just be going, woo.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't, that's what it seems like to me anyway.
Oh, of
So,
course.
yeah. Because I was thinking, is there a message? Because I was like, how can Andreas have a straight face and go, right, so this is the message. And I was like, I don't know how you can do that, because there's a certain point where it just goes whoosh and it's all gone. And yeah. But I did work out when I was sitting in the park, funnily enough, that originally Tony Parsons, although he didn't do anything according to him, wrote a book that was an expression of this is all there is, and so on. And that wasn't a message to have an effect as a tool to create an effect. And so now there's speakers where the message seems to unburden people, but then people think it's a tool, like, yeah. And I still can't understand how you can sit there and say the message, but that's not my problem. It's not your problem. Is it?
Yeah, that's my problem. Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
You see, this job is much more difficult than it may seem.
It's like, how could you do it? I'd have to take trimazepam or something, you know.
It's pure luck. It's pure luck. I'm not doing it. It's just what seems to be happening. I never decided to do that. I never know what I'm going to say. There is no message. I don't have a message in my pocket that I throw at everyone who wants to hear it, who is not fast enough. No, it's just coming out. It's just what seems to be happening.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And you are right. There are actually speakers who think this is a teaching, that this message somehow takes the burden off the me, and that liberation is about becoming a lighter me or a relaxed me.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah. It's almost like I can't know what's going on with Andreas anyway.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's only subjective. It's subjective. It's just what, yeah. But
well, I don't know myself. I don't know myself what's going on with Andreas.
Oh. It's almost like I want to ask, I don't know if it's my question or everyone's underlying question. Is it like that all the time for Andreas? That's the question that people want to ask, isn't it? Because that's what they fucking well want.
Oh, yeah,
and that's probably what I want, to be honest.
Yeah, Andreas, are you talking about a concept? Is it something that you just offer when there are these talks, or is it always like that? Have you really made it and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I'm supposed to answer that.
Well, you don't have to.
Well, yeah, this question just doesn't really make sense. The person in the story, one would say yes. When the me turns out to be illusory, when the me drops, and there is no going back, because the whole world, this whole idea of having been somewhere, having gotten something back and forth, don't make sense anymore. So in a story, one could say, of course, it's always like that, but in the end, not at all, because there is no experience of anything. There is no experience here of any kind of circumstance that is all the time. There is no state. It doesn't make sense. I haven't arrived. I don't know anything. There is no I. But this too isn't an experienceable state.
It's not there's no continuity for you.
Exactly. The continuity only takes place for the person. but there is also no continuous spontaneity or something. Always new, or same continuity. No, nothing is going on really. That's why it's effortless. I'm not talking about any kind of state that I would need to be aware of, or that I need to confirm to myself, or something like it's always the same and stuff like that. No, it's just as it is.
So that's the thing that did seem to be unraveling, was when I heard people say it's not about awareness and you don't need awareness and it's not self-conscious. That was something that seemed to be different from almost every other message or teaching.
Yes.
Is that it's not about, it's like it's okay to not be aware. Yeah. I guess.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Oh, of course. Nothing is, that's the thing. This message doesn't require anything, or the natural reality doesn't require anything, not even to be aware. And that's the one condition that the person would set up. Whatever is, whatever wholeness is, whatever this is, someone, something needs to be aware of it. For the person, wholeness is useless until someone, something becomes aware of it. And what this message is saying, nothing is required at all. And that's the freedom.
Yeah. The rain gets it. I don't really get it, but sometimes I forget that I don't get it.
Yeah.
That's all I can be honest about, to be honest. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing to get.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Has there ever been an intelligent conversation? Well, I don't know. Obviously not in my life, but maybe this doesn't mean anything. Maybe it's different in other people's lives. Okay. Nobody knows, but some people say they know and explain it to others. I don't see any contradiction in life. I see contradiction where people trying to explain unexplainable to others. That's problem. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Yeah. I always know what I say, well, after I've said it anyway. Yeah, maybe sometimes afterwards it gets clear, oh dear, that's what I actually said. Yeah. Okay, and there's talking to some, there's a conversation going on in the chat where they talk about this. Peter, they are half-baked. When there really is no me, you don't speak about it because you don't know it. Only when the me comes back, you start speaking about it. Well, yes, that's why there's no one here speaking about anything. Only when someone comes back, you can speak about it as if it is something that you saw in the past or something. Yeah. What happened to the questioning voice in the head after liberation? That's the interesting thing. It just drops. It's just not there. There's no dialogue going on anymore. There may be a monologue, but there's no dialogue. There's no one who talks to itself. Andreas, sometimes Jim says that the me is the contracted energy in the body, but I can't see any contraction anywhere. Can you speak something about this? Oh yes, there is no contracted energy in the body. That's the dream. that there is a separate contracted energy within anyone. And that's the apparent thing, or that's the thing that's seen from the person. The person would claim, I am here, I feel it, there is this tension, there is this presence, there is something in here which I am. This could be described, or the person would describe itself as contracted energy, as if there is really something that took form. But what this message points to is that this sense of I am, this seemingly felt sense of I am, doesn't have any substance, even while it happens. That's why I say, or some people say, that there is the illusion of I am, or the illusion of presence. But even that doesn't mean that there is something substantial. In that sense, there is no contracted energy within anyone. It's not there. Okay, I don't read the, if people don't talk. Okay, now, oh no, please not. Now from a controversial one. Did Andreas get vaccinated? Well, there's no Andreas. There is no one to get vaccinated. Okay, after liberation, isn't there a release in the body, felt or not felt? Yes and no. Yes, it kind of is. That's the exhalation. This, of course, or when the me drops, or when the me turns out to be illusory, this whole, of course, it's like, of course, that's the energy of it. Death, the end of all struggles, so to speak. As I say, it doesn't turn out that dramatic in the end, because it turns out that the struggles weren't real, but in a way it is like that. Okay, how can I get you on my podcast? I would love to do a video with you. Oh, well, we could just make an appointment. Just write me an email. Is the contracted energy in the body then just a sensation arising, but for no one? The mind always wants to make stories around it. Yes, one could say so. As I say, actually what we talk about is like becoming awake in the morning. That's the apparent birth of self-awareness. When there is someone, that's just how it feels. Suddenly, I'm here now. I woke up. That's when the day starts. That's self-awareness. That's the dream. And yes, it happens to no one. There is no one behind that. And there is nothing and no one causing it. It's just its own experiences to have been born out of nothing, out of something that I can't know. But suddenly I'm here, and suddenly I believe to know. That's self-awareness, and it really seems to feel like that. It's this, hey, I'm here. Good morning. Hello. I'm here. I woke up. That is the illusion. Yeah. But as I say, it's not owned by anyone or anything. No one does do that. No one could prevent it from happening. No one can make it go away. It's just what seems to be happening. And while it happens, it just didn't become something, though it feels as if I became something. I'm born. I have been born. I'm awake now. And it's in a way the same in a small child. It's the same when you wake up in the morning. nobody gets vaccinated and there's no vaccine. Yes, yes. I'm nobody. Andreas, are you sleeping 24/7? Well, this may sound a bit contradictory because there is no Andreas who is sleeping, but yes, there is no I that wakes up for a few hours in between. Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's the natural reality, so to speak. Already, it's not a state. That's a thing that, you know, it's just the same thing as if it's a state that someone can be at sleep as a state. But no, everything is deeply sleeping already. And then for a few hours, there seems to be the illusion that I'm awake now. But that's the dream. That's Andreas, what's your wife's response to this message? Well, we hardly, it's actually not really an issue. We hardly talk about it, you know. It's not really an issue. It's quite okay. It's she's not against it or something. Okay. Had an experience of leaving my body, and as I looked at it laying there, I could see the layers of beliefs and ideas I built over time and realized I don't need them. Or do I? Well, the thing is, in the end, you can't really separate yourself from beliefs and ideas. That's my impression. Of course, there can be an understanding from time to time that you are not your thoughts and you are not your ideas. But pretty quickly, you turn this into new layers of beliefs and ideas. Of course, no one needs them. But for me, my impression is that at least the I can't really separate itself from them or escape from them. But no one needs the I, of course. I mean, there is a big movement going on, or actually, I also in very spiritual traditions where they inquire and examine the functioning of thoughts and beliefs, and a lot of people think that to be free from thought, for example, is liberation or is fulfillment or enlightenment or something. And in a way, it's true. The thing is, there's just no I who can become free from all of that. But when there is no one, there isn't anyone seeking in thoughts and ideas. Okay.
Yes, and just so this suffering that's happening, that's just what's happening.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Maybe including the illusion to be someone who suffers. And that's just what seems to be happening as well. Yeah. Yes.
So me that thinks he's suffering and needs to get out of this is already it's not actually suffering. It's suffering, but it's seen a different point of view. It's not really. It's what's happening.
Exactly. It's what seems to be happening. Yes. Yeah. totally, absolutely. And it's whole and complete already.
So the me doesn't need to get out of this, or me is
Yes.
me. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean the me can never hear that. The me can't accept that. But in the end, oh yeah, of course. I mean, apparently people go through their life 50, 60, 70 years thinking all the time, this can't be it. This can't be it. This, I need something. I need to become enlightened. But for 50, 60, 70 years, they didn't need to become enlightened. It's not needed. It's a dreamt need. It's amazing. It's so weird for the person. This is so weird because it's so convinced that the suffering isn't, that there has to be a way out of this suffering. And I don't say that the person could ever have another perspective. That is the person's perspective, but actually it's whole and complete already for no one. Totally.
because there's no me there. Me the only the illusion is created because me think there's something else beside this.
Well, yeah, let's go together. There is the sense of me, and then there comes the dream, but there has to be something else because this can't be it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is the dream of I have to find something, this can't be it, I have to do something, I have to find something. Yeah, this is all one bundle, so to speak. This all just goes together.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you. Is dieting harder after me drops? I don't know. I'm not doing that since then. Not that I was dieting before, but I was trying to diet before. Now it's what happens or not. You think I should? Okay, Eligio.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you probably don't have that sense because there's nobody there to get thinner or fatter, or you don't really care, or
Yeah.
nothing cares.
There's no one to really care. Caring might happen actually, but yeah, there wouldn't be anyone who cares. Totally, yes.
So you don't take offense to that question?
No. No, I didn't really. I have to work it through emotionally after the talk, but no, that's fine.
I'm just fucking around. Thank you, Andreas.
Thank you. Okay, a comment in the chat. I'm awake is unconscious and not made of anything. So who would realize that it's not made of anything? Yes, exactly. Yes. I'm awake is already dreamt. It's already for no one. It never became real. So there is also no realization that it's not real. Absolutely. Yes. That's the thing. One day I will really understand that I don't exist. Can't happen.
Hi, Andreas.
Hi.
I remember once you said to me that for the me, like its presence is the most valuable thing it has.
Yes.
Is that because it thinks so that's basically why it doesn't want to listen to this message, or it will try and avoid what's being said here, because at bare minimum it's just got to stay present to make sure things are going okay.
Yes, yeah, and of course, it's very simple actually. In order for me to become a fulfilled me, I need to be present, and that's all the person wants, to become a fulfilled me. So of course, in order to become that, I have to be there. Everything that I'm wishing for, everything that I'm alive for, everything that I was doing my efforts for, of course, were in order for me to be there to experience them.
Yes.
Of course. Absence so much doesn't make sense for the person. It's like throwing away one's chances, you know, because if I'm there, I might at least have the chance to become fulfilled.
Yeah.
And that's so valuable already for the person. Why would you trade that for nothing?
But that whole logic is flawed, because really it is the sense of me being here aware that creates the sense that there's an unfulfillment.
Yeah, but for the person, this is just logic. It's not really coming to its experience. You know, it's just something that it believes that it can understand that, but its experience is, hey, I'm alive and I want to get something.
So the person will fight this message until the end.
Well, I don't know if it really consciously fights it. In a way, the person is the apparent fighting of it. Yeah.
But it can't.
But it doesn't matter, you know. It's not that it would be better if the person would come into a more acceptive state or something. You know, that's.
Yeah. But it won't. It can't let go or die into this willingly.
Exactly. Yes. Because it would only want to die willingly in order to experience it. That's the thing. It just doesn't work. Because the whole idea that something still needs to happen is the personal idea.
Yeah.
And of course it can invent concepts that I want the me to die, and if only the me would die. But having this setup already implies some kind of goal, some kind of benefit.
Yeah. It has to be for something. The me dying has to be for my gain, even though that doesn't make sense.
Exactly, and even conceptually, you'll tell yourself something else. The underlying assumption is that there is a benefit, and that, of course, something will know about this benefit.
Yeah, it will be for me.
Yes, it'll just be for me, whatever that means then, but somehow it'll be for me. Yeah.
Okay, thanks a million.
Thank you. Okay, Hitesh.
Hi, Andreas.
Hi. Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you.
So, uh, I have understood everything. I don't know intellectually, or that is the profound understanding. But still, there is an event happening. Huh? So this dream character, the dream is still going on and on and on and on. The consciousness, there is a consciousness that everything I know, whatever happening with this dream, I am only the knowing. I'm only the witness in which this whole dream is happening. But it is happening. It's still going on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah, but that which is aware of that is illusory. There isn't.
I'm trying to say that there is no me, okay? There's
Yes.
no me, but still this dream character getting sickness, this
Yes.
dream character having problems, this
Yes.
dream character having fight,
Yes.
but this character don't have any identity.
Yes, exactly.
But the things are happening. World is going on and on and on and on and on for him.
Yes, apparently. Yes.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah.
This is it.
Your connection is a bit bad right now. It's a bit cut
So,
off in between.
I'm saying this is it.
Yeah, I can hardly hear you. Okay,
I'm saying this is it.
oh yeah, this is it, but no one knows that.
That's it, simple. There is no idea, no teaching, nothing. This
Yeah.
is it. Whatever happening is happening for
Yes.
nobody.
Absolutely.
There is
Yes.
no experience. There is no. If there is experience, then experience happening with this character, but there is no experience also.
Yes, absolutely. Already, it's already like that. It's not something that will be reached someday or attained someday. It's just the natural reality, which is inattainable because it's already the case, so to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining. Okay, do you have goals or aspirations, or completely let everything unfold as it does? Well, no, I'm not here to let things unfold as they do. All there is what seems to be happening already, including me. And I don't have goals or aspirations. No, I mean, there may be goals maybe out of functioning, but there isn't anyone having those goals, hoping that they have something to do with my fulfillment. So in a way, during my day, there are a lot of goals: bringing my son to school on time, preparing food, going to shop for the family, get my car repaired, which is broken, stuff like that. Seen from the person, this looks like goals, and they just happen by themselves. But there is no I which thinks that reaching those goals give me fulfillment. In that sense, there's nothing that I want. There's no one here who still wants this or that, in a sense that this is missing in my life, as if there is something that I still need to experience to fulfill my life or to make my life okay or stuff like that. That drops completely. In that sense, there are no goals and no aspirations. In very simplified spoken, I died, or this I died, who lives in this dream of, I need to have this, I need to feel like that. That's something that I still want to do. I can't die before I have visited the moon or whatever. That dropped. That just dropped. Together with this illusion that there is someone in the first place. It didn't drop for me. Hi. It just dropped together with the illusion that I'm someone. Yes. Okay. Is the suffering it? Yes, kind of, but not for anyone. But of course, when there's suffering, whatever suffering is, usually it's just feelings. It's a bunch of feelings in the end. that the person believes to suffer from. But in that sense, there is no real suffering in that sense. But yeah, of course. So a question in the chat. So this can't be it, just happens. That's kind of profound in an odd way, because what else would be happening when that happens? Yeah, so to speak. Yes. Yeah. Well, yes, one could say so. The assumption, well, this can't be it, is of course wholeness, of course, or is whole and complete. Yes. All right, Michael. One moment. You want to say something, Michael? I tried to turn on your microphone. How does this work?
Hello. I really don't have any questions.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate you, and I've enjoyed you for some time now. Yeah,
thank you very
I don't
much.
have any questions. I just wanted to say I enjoy you.
Oh, lovely. Nice to see you.
I just,
nice to see you. And I'm
have
sorry
listened
I
to
never
you.
made it.
Oh, you sweetheart. Ah.
Yeah, yeah, it pops up in my mind again and again, but it's so the time is so inconvenient for me that it's, you know, usually I really fell it.
Well, we seem to have a time lapse here, but I've grown used to that too.
Oh, now I froze maybe.
I'm going to quiet myself now.
No, well, it seemed I froze. I think my connection was gone for a moment. Nice to see you. Thanks. Okay, I think Eligio was first, and then we go on.
Hey, and there's interest here on how you handle when people around you pressure you, or they are obviously working from the me, and there's fear there for themselves, but they portray it on you, demanding that you do something. Is there any urge from you to kind of ease their suffering in your real life, like your family, your kids?
Well,
you know,
first there is an urge to ease my suffering, but when they pressure me, oh well, yeah. Of course. Oh yeah, that's what seems to be happening. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's like, I know where they're coming from, but they're like saying, no, it's not for me, it's for you. But no, but it's really for them, what they're trying to do. It's like, I'm just curious. It doesn't really matter, but like,
well, of course. Well, if my son is somehow sad or suffering, usually, well, not that I do that, but so far I'm trying to cheer him up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what seems to be happening. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. How do you spell it? Boker. You raised your hand, but you have to turn on your microphone first.
Is that it? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
How you doing? I'm glad I tapped in and caught you today because this is amazing. I'm like, you know, I run a podcast, like I'm a psychedelic traveler, and I had this experience on mushrooms to where I was asking all these questions about me, and the mushrooms told me you do not exist, and that has stuck with me for like 2 years, to where I can see that in like almost everything I do in daily life. Like I see that the me that I think is just like these thoughts and ideas that, you know, that I built over all this time, but I still don't get it. Like I still don't get it. Like in some senses, like, you know, the me that doesn't exist. Is this something that is this the me that I created and said, this is me, that I took from this person, that person, that person, that person, that person, and from everybody that I ever came in contact with, or everything I done read or watched, and I built this so-called me?
Well, no one is doing it, actually. No one's really doing it. My assumption is, just when I hear you speak, you know, it's just, I'm just speaking in the blue. I have no idea. But my assumption is that there's just some kind of awareness somehow sitting, subtly being aware of it all and wanting to do something with it. And yes, you can't get it. It's totally impossible to get that there is no me. There just is no me. It's just not there. And of course, the attempt to somehow process this, to somehow get it together, will fail. It is impossible. There isn't anything that could be gotten together and stuff like that.
And I accept that. And that's the conclusion I came to. But it's still a part of me going, you need to find this. You need to understand this.
Yeah, but if you trying to accept it is another attempt to somehow digest it, to somehow own it. And it is impossible.
Yeah.
And it's exactly that which tries to do that. It's exactly that which tries to get an answer, which doesn't have any substance at all. That is when I say, I think, or it sounds to me as if there is somehow some awareness left. It's exactly that which says, I need to get it. I need to get it. I see it, but I need to get. That is the illusion.
And it's always like right there, to where it keeps you searching for that same thing, because you got like, it's right there. I can almost reach it. If I just dive in 2 more times, I'm gonna have it. And it's like I find myself 3 years later still searching for the same thing.
Still being so close, still being almost there. Now, for the person, for this which is seeking, it's always over there. This goes together. The seeker and the answer being over there, that's the same thing. That's automatic.
And I thank you for that, because I realized that, but I guess I just didn't want to accept it.
Well, you saw it, but for whatever reason, no reason, you just didn't die so far.
Yeah, thank you. That was it. Thank you. I needed that.
Thanks for joining. Lovely.
Look, I found it.
Yes, exactly. Great that you joined. Okay. Oh dear, it's 8 o'clock. Maybe I have from the chat something. If the message is the truth, then why has it been overlooked for thousands of years of spiritual traditions? Well, of course, well, I just go on with that one, and maybe then we have to stop. I don't know. The thing is, of course, truth doesn't really fit here, but it has been, and it only can. Of the sense to be someone is the apparent and spiritual, and most people seem to experience themselves as someone in all kinds of fields, but also in the spiritual field. The person can't know this. It's impossible for the person to know absence. So no one can come across this, so to speak, by personal effort or stuff like that. There's just no connection between the personal world and spirituality and seeking and philosophy and inventing stories and the dropping of the me. In a very simplified way, one could say until it drops, it has to be overlooked. And the dropping of it isn't the seeing of anything. It's just the dropping of the sense of I am. It's not seeing the truth. There is no one left who arrives, who finally understands or stuff like that. No, it just turns out that the whole personal experience wasn't real. But as I say, as long as there is the illusion of I am, that is the person only knows itself. It can't go beyond itself. So there's no one to blame for that. Okay, I think we have time. I just, as I say, this was the last meeting via Nothing Media. And but for future meetings, Amazon has a new website. So for future meetings via Nothing Media, you can go to non-duality.live, www.nonduality.live. And or do you want to announce it yourself, Amazon?
And I just want to say thank you. Yeah, people can go to non-duality.live for future meetings, for events and that kind of stuff. And everybody unmute yourself and say thank you, Andreas.
No, I just want to say a short outro.
Sorry.
No,
go ahead, Andreas.
Okay, and there'll also be future meetings with me. You can check it on my website, but I know who wants to see that anyway. All right. So this is all there is. There is no teaching. There's no message. There's no right or wrong way to be, because it's the sense of existence which doesn't have any substance. There is no one there being in the first place. So there's no message, no teaching, no steps to take, and no place to rest. All there is what seems to be happening, and it's already uncaused, inexperienced, whole, complete, empty, and meaningless. Thank you very much for joining. I wish you a lovely time. Thanks for joining and participating.
Thank you, Andreas. Thank you.
Thanks, Andreas.
Thanks, Andreas.
Thank you for having
Thank you
me.
very much.
Bye, Andreas.
Thank you,
Thanks.
everyone.
Have a nice time. Thank you.
Thanks, Emerson.
Bye.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emerson.
Thank you,
Media.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Everyone. We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Dang, man, this is
Bye.
live.